kick right in front of the goal, and it's in.
Second, cuts to his corner, take the shot, he scores!
Peters Township Indians and the Penn Hills Indians. We're going to go ahead and get right into live action here this evening, folks. So starting off for Peters Township, we have number 14, Nathan Klein as a setter, Brian Sullivan as outside hitter, Will Josephowski as middle hitter, Ethan Cooper as your second setter, Andre Cruikshank, defensive specialist, Ryan Deegan, and Caleb Enan. First serve by Penn Hills over, set up by Peters. 4 hits by Peters Township. That point's going to go to Penn Hills. It's 1-0 Penn Hills. Penn Hills serve is over, set up by Peters Township. Sullivan puts the spike down, but it goes long. It's going to be 2-0 Penn Hills. Serving for Penn Hills is number 6, Luke Woolahan. Woolahan's serve is into the net. Point's going to go to Peters Township. Up the serve for Peters is number 23, Brian Sullivan. Sullivan's jump serve is over the net, and that's going to be an ace. Ace for Brian Sullivan, not able to be returned by Penn Hills. Score is now 2-2. Sullivan's jump serve is over. Brought back over the net by Penn Hills. Now it's set up by Peters Township. Hit over by Bammitzreiter. Now back by Penn Hills. Falls into a gap. Peters isn't able to get there. It's going to be the point for Penn Hills. 3-2 Penn Hills. Serving for Penn Hills is number 15, Logan Depew. Depew's serve is into the net. 3-3 is the score. Serving for Peters Township is libero Caleb Enan, and Deegan is into the game for Peters. Enan's serve is over. It's set up by Penn Hills, pulled back, not able to be pulled back over. Out of bounds by Penn Hills. Point goes to Peters. Enan still serving for Peters. Enan's jump serve is over. That's going to be an ace. It was touched by Penn Hills, but not able to be handled. 5-3 Peters Township. Enan with another ace. Grazes the net, but goes over. Point Peters Township, 6-3. Enan's serve past the end line there. Point's going to go to Penn Hills, 6-4. Serving for Penn Hills is number 2, Braden Mallory. Mallory's serve is over. It's set up by Peters. Ethan Cooper puts the spike down, and that's going to be a kill for Cooper. Point to Peters Township. It's now 7-4. In for Peters is number 13, Nathan Doomer, for number 14, Nate Klein. Cooper's serve is over the net. It's set up by Penn Hills. Spiked by Penn Hills, but goes long. Point to Peters Township. Cooper's jump serve over the net. It goes out of bounds. Point's going to go to Penn Hills. It's now 8-5 Penn Hills. Serving for Penn Hills is number 21, Shamar Johnson. Johnson serve, dropped in short, set up by Peters. Spiked by Bamisrider, but it was blocked by Penn Hills. Good job on the block there by Penn Hills. Still serving is Shamar Johnson. Johnson's serve this time goes into the net. Point Peters Township, 9-6 Peters Township. Serving for Peters Township is number 6, Tommy Bamistrider. Bamistrider's serve is over, off the hands of Penn Hills, pulled back into play, free ball over the net. Peters Township sets it up. Spike by Sullivan, that's going to be a kill. Unable to be returned by Penn Hills. It's now 10-6 Peters Township. Bamistrider still serving. Bamistrider's serve is over. It's set up by Penn Hills. Overpass Penn Hills. And that's Nathan Doomer on the spike on that overpass with a kill. Good job for Nathan Doomer to be up there at the net and attack that play. Penn Hills is going to call a timeout. We are set 1 in this match. The score is 11-6 Peters Township. So Peters Township's coming into this game undefeated with a 3-0 record. They are atop section class 3A, section 1, with the same section record as Upper St. Clair. That game will be coming up next week. That'll be a good one. Penn Hills has only played one other game this season. They are in section 2. And they lost that one game, so they haven't came into this game with a lot of games under their belt. We'll get back to the action here. It's 11-6 Peters Township. Bamisrider serving for Peters Township. Bamistrider's jump serve is over. It's set up by Penn Hills. Spiked by Penn Hills. That's a kill by Penn Hills. Nice play there by number 23 for Penn Hills, Alain Tomanouchi. Tomanouchi is serving now for Penn Hills as well. Tomanouchi's serve over. He drops it in behind the Peters back line there. Point to Penn Hills. It's now 11-8 Peters Township. Tomanouchi's serve is over. It's set up by Peters. Spike and kill by number 15, Ryan Deegan. Deegan will go out. Andre Crookshank will come in for Peters Township, and Crookshank will be serving. Crookshank's serve is over the net. It's set up by Penn Hills, but that's going to be a carry by Penn Hills. Point's going to go to Peters Township. It's 13-8 Peters. Crookshank still serving. Crookshank's serve is over the net. That's going to be an ace. Penn Hills couldn't get a handle to return it. 14-8 Peters Township. Crookshank's serve over. Another ace. Line judge was a little undecided there, called it both ways. It appeared to be in. And it is ruled in. Point to Peters Township, ace to Crookshank. He'll continue serving. Crookshank serve over. Set up by Penn Hills, hit over by Penn Hills. Now it's set up by Peters Township. Doomer pulls it back and gets it over. Set up now by Penn Hills. Pushed over. Peters digs it out, sets it up. Sullivan on the spike. Penn Hills brings it back over. Nice play there. Josephowski pushes it. Brought back by Penn Hills. Set up by Peters. Josephowski on the spike. Penn Hills touched the net there, folks, so that's Peters' point. Crookshank still serving. Penn Hills sets it up. Spike. And a kill by number 15 for Penn Hills. That's going to be Logan Depew. Serving for Penn Hills is number 13, Joseph Mitlow. Mitlow's serve is over. It's set up by Peters Township. Josephowski spikes, but it's brought back over. Peters can't get it back into play. So that point's going to go to Penn Hills. 16-10 now, Peters Township. Mitlow's still serving. Mitlow's serve is over, goes past the end line. Point to Peters. Substitution for Peters, number 14, Nate Klein, coming in for 13, Nathan Doomer. Klein will serve. Klein's jump serve is over. It's set up by Penn Hills. Hit by Penn Hills, but into the net. Point's going to go to Peters Township. Klein will continue to serve. Klein's jump serve is over. That's going to be an ace there. One hit off Penn Hills and it went out of play. It's now 19-10 Peters Township. Klein is still serving. Klein's jump serve is over. Off of Penn Hills, out of bounds. That's another ace for Klein. All right, they didn't change. I thought the score should be 20-10, and I was hesitating, and they changed it, so the score is 20-10. We have a timeout here by Penn Hills in this first set of the match this evening. So as I mentioned, in Class 3A, Section 1, we have Peters and Upper St. Clair atop the section with a tie record. Then there's Moon, South Fayette, Baldwin, Bethel Park, and Cannon McMillan rounding out the section, folks. So a couple important games coming up here for Peters. Klein's jump serve is over the net. It's set up by Penn Hills. Hit over by Penn Hills. Now set up by Peters. Josephowski on the spike, but it goes long. It's going to be 20-11 Peters Township. Serving for Penn Hills is number 6, Luke Woolahan. Woolahan's short serve goes over. It's set by Peters Township, but Sullivan's spike goes into the net. That point is going to go to Penn Hills. It's going to be now 20-12. Woolahan is still serving. Woolahan's serve over. It's set up by Peters Township. Bama Strider on the spike by Peters Township, but it goes long past the end line. Point will go to Penn Hills. Woolahan serve over for Penn Hills. Set up by Peters Township. Sullivan on the spike. He puts that one down. That's a kill for Sullivan. 21-13 Peters Township. Sullivan will be serving. Sullivan's jump serve over, dug out by Penn Hills. Good job on the dig there. They set it up, put it over. Now Peters Township sets it up. Spike there. It's blocked by Penn Hills, brought back over. And Peters can't get a handle on it. That point's going to go to Penn Hills, 21-14. Into the game now for Peters is number 13, Declan McMahon. McMahon on the spike there. It's touched by Penn Hills, goes out of bounds. Point to Peters Township. Peters will be serving Caleb Einen. Einen's serve is into the net. Point's going to go to Penn Hills. It's 22-15 Penn Hills. Mallory's serve for Penn Hills. Set up by Peters Township. McMahon on the spike. It's brought back, then pushed over by Bamisrider, but Penn Hills carried, so that point will go to Peters Township. It's now 23-15. Couple substitutions for Peters. Nathan Doomer in for Nathan Klein, and Ethan Cooper in for McMahon. Cooper will serve. Cooper's jump serve is over the net. It's set up by Penn Hills, couple of high sets there. Now it's hit over by Penn Hills, but it goes out of bounds, 24-15. So set point here in the first set here coming up for Cooper. Cooper's jump serve is over. That's going to be an ace to finish out the game. Finish out the set, I'm sorry. In all of Class AAA, with North Allegheny, Seneca Valley, and Shaler ahead of them. It's a big jump from a week ago for Peters Township. And also Peters Township senior Brian Sullivan was named the Class AAA Whippeal Boys Volleyball Player of the Week. So a couple accolades there for Peters Township. Sullivan's done a super job in terms of his serving and also kills. I don't have his stats handy, but he's done a really good job in pulling his team along. Okay, folks, we're going to get started on the second set here. We have the same group of people starting for Peters Township that started the first set. Number 2, Caleb Einen, is the libero for Peters Township. He'll come in quickly right now for number 15, Ryan Deegan. Penn Hills now takes the floor for this second set. Peters Township will start out serving in this second set. Penn Hills will be in serve-receive. Starting out the serving will be number 14, Nate Klein. Klein's jump serve is over. That's going to be an ace. Penn Hills could not get a handle on it there. Start out 1-0 Peters Township. Klein still serving. Klein's jump serve is over. Close, but it goes long of the end line. It's going to be out of bounds. The point there goes to Penn Hills. Serving. Looks like the referee overruled the line judge there. So that point will go to Peters. Klein still serving. Spike there by Penn Hills. Peters Township touched it, couldn't get it back in play. That point will definitely go to Penn Hills. Serving for Penn Hills is number 15, Logan Depew. Depew's serve is over. It's set up by Peters Township. Sullivan with a kill. Score is going to be 3-1 Peters Township. Sullivan will be back to serve. Sullivan hard jump serve ace. Point Peters Township 4-1. That one sails a little bit long on the end line. It's going to be 4-2 Peters Township. Serving for Penn Hills is number 2, Braden Mallory. Mallory's serve is over. It's set up by Peters Township. Killed by Bamisrider. Touched a Penn Hills player and went out there. Coming in for Peters is number 15, Deegan for Josephowski. Caleb Einen will be back to serve. Einen's jump serve goes over. It's set up by Penn Hills. Penn Hills goes into the net there. Point's going to go to Peters Township. It's now 6-2 Peters. Einen still serving. Einen's jump serve grazes the net but goes over. Penn Hills keeps it in, hits it over, off the tip of Sullivan's hands and out of play. Point's going to go to Penn Hills. 6-3 Peters Township. Sullivan got to keep a little stronger fingers on that. Serves over for Penn Hills, sails long of the end line. Point Peters Township. Serving for Peters, number 17, Ethan Cooper. Into the game for Peters, number 13, Nathan Doomer, for number 14, Nate Klein. Cooper's jump serve is over. It's set up by Penn Hills. Hit over by Penn Hills. Now set up by Peters Township. Bamistrider on the kill. Point Peters Township. It's now 8-3 Peters Township. Cooper still serving. Cooper's jump serve barely goes over the net. It's going to be an ace. Penn Hills can't get a handle on it. Penn Hills is going to call a timeout here with the score being 9-3 in this second set. Peters Township took the first set. They're up 1-0. We'll take a quick break in the action. Okay, folks, we'll get back to live action. We have Peters Township serving, number 17, Ethan Cooper. Cooper's jump serve is over, and that's going to be an ace. Penn Hills can't get a handle on it. Score is now 10-3 Peters Township. Cooper getting a fresh ball from the sideline here. Cooper's jump serve over. Another ace for Cooper. That's off the tip of Penn Hills. They can't handle it. I think that's about 3 aces in a row here for Cooper, doing a good job with that serve. Cooper's jump serve over. Another ace for Cooper. Penn Hills got a handle on that one, but it dropped in the middle of the court. Score is now 12-3 Peters Township. Serve over, set up, hit by Penn Hills, and it's dropped right in the middle there, right between all the Peters players. That point's going to go to Penn Hills. Serving for Penn Hills is number 23, Alan Tamano. His serve is over. It's set by Peters. That's going to be a kill by number 13, Nathan Doomer. Good job there by Doomer, strong hit. Point's going to go to Peters Township. Serving for Peters Township is number 6, Tommy Bamisrider. Bamistrider's jump serve goes over. Set up by by Penn Hills. Free ball hit over by Penn Hills. Now set up by Peters. Sullivan on the spike. Penn Hills does a good job of keeping that under control. Pulls it back over. Peters caught a little off guard there. Sullivan with the spike, but it sails long of the end line. Point's going to go to Penn Hills. It's now 13-5 Peters Township. Serving for Penn Hills number 13, Joseph Mitlow. Mitlow's serve over, set up by Peters Township. Deegan with the push over. Penn Hills now sets it up. They push it over. Peters now sets it up. Doomer on the spike, and a kill. Good job, Nathan Doomer there. He's had a couple kills this game. That point will go to Peters Township. It's 14-5 Peters. Couple substitutions. Crookshank in for Deegan. Crookshank will serve. Josephowski came in for the libero, Caleb Einen. Crookshank's jump serve is over. It's brought back by Penn Hills. Now it's set up by Peters Township. Josephowski hits it. Duggan set up by Penn Hills. Hit over by Penn Hills. Now set up by Peters Township. Sullivan on the spike, and that's going to be a kill. Another kill for Brian Sullivan right there, folks. Score is 15-5 Peters Township. Crookshank still serving. Jump serve for Crookshank. Set up by Penn Hills. Over. Now it's set up by Peters Township. Bama Strider on the spike, but sails a little bit long. So for Peters Township, we have Deegan came in for Crookshank, but then went right back out for the libero, Caleb Einen. Penn Hill's serve is over. It's set up by Peters Township. Josephowski on the spike. So it was brought back over by by Penn Hills for an overpass, but no one on Peters' end could handle it. Penn Hills serve there into the net. Point's going to go to Peters Township. In for Peters Township is 14, Klein for Doomer, and number 30, Declan McMahon, in for number 17, Ethan Cooper. Klein will be serving. Klein's jump serve is over the net. It's set up by Penn Hills now. Penn Hills on the spike. Bama Strider dives and pulls it back in. Free ball hit over by Peters Township. Now it's set up by Penn Hills. Pushed over by Penn Hills. Now set up by Peters Township. Sullivan on the kill. Close to the out of bounds line there, but kept it in. Klein still serving for Peters. Klein's jump serve is over. Penn Hills gets a handle on it, brings it back, but it's going to go out of bounds. Point's going to go to Peters Township. 18-7 Peters Township. Klein still serving. Klein, nice jump serve right over the net there. Set up by Penn Hills. They hit it back over, but it goes into the net. That point's going to go to Peters Township. It's now 19-7 Peters. Penn Hills is going to call another timeout. The score 19-7 in the second set of this match. Okay, folks, Penn Hills takes the court. Nathan Klein for Peters Township back to serve. Klein's jump serve is over, and that's going to be an ace. Nice serve there for Nathan Klein. Score is now 20-7 Peters Township. Klein's jump serve over. It is pulled back in play and set up by Penn Hills. Good job there by Penn Hills. Set up by Peters Township now. Declan McMahon spikes it over with the left. It is returned and set up Penn Hills, now set up by Peters. Unable to be pulled back into play. That point's going to go to Penn Hills. It's now 20-8 Peters Township. Serving for Penn Hills is number 15, Logan Depew. Depew's serve is over. off the fingertips of Bama Strider. That goes out of play. That's going to be an ace for Depew. Depew getting a fresh ball from the sidelines. Serve is going to go over. Pass back by Bama Strider. Appeared to be an overpass, but Penn Hills touched the net. That point's going to go to Peters Township. It's now 21-9. Sullivan is serving. Sullivan with a hard jump serve, grazes the net and stays in bounds. That's going to be an ace. Point to Peters, 22-10 to 9. Another jump serve by Sullivan. This one goes long. Now 22-10, Peters Township. Serving for Penn Hills is number 2, Braden Mallory. Mallory's serve is over. It's set up by Peters Township. Bama Strider on the spike. That's going to be a kill. Hits Penn Hills and goes out of bounds. Into the game for Peters, number 15, Ryan Deegan in for Will Josefowski. Caleb Einen back to serve. His serve is over. Low serve right over the top of the net. Set up by Penn Hills. It's hit over by Penn Hills. Now it's set up by Peters Township. McMahon on the spike, but can't quite get it over the net. That point's going to go to Penn Hills, 23-11. Into the game for Penn Hills and serving is number 4, Charles Francione. Francione's serve is over, goes out of bounds. Point's going to go to Peters. It's now 24-11 Peters. Into the game for Peters, number 13, Nathan Doomer in for 14, Nate Klein, and 17, Ethan Cooper in for 30, Declan McMahon. Cooper going to be back to serve. Cooper's serve is over, brought right back by Penn Hills, now set up by Peters Township. Bama Strider pushes it over and it drops right in the middle. Set point there to Peters Township. So the final score in the second set is 25-11 Peters Township. That'll be 2-0 in for Peters Township in this match this evening. Take a brief break here between sets. Okay, folks, Penn Hills starting off serving in this third set. That serve is going to be into the net. It'll be 1-0 Peters Township. Starting the serve for Peters Township will be number 23, Brian Sullivan. Sullivan, hard jump serve, but into the net. It's going to be 1-1. Serving for Penn Hills is number 15, Logan Depew. Depew's serve over, set up by Peters Township. Kill by number 25, Will Josefowski. Point to Peters. Josefowski out of the game. Number 15, Ryan Deegan comes in. Caleb Einen serving for Peters. Einen's serve is over. Penn Hills is able to get a handle on it, but they're forced to 4 hits. So Einen's still back to serve for Peters. Puts it over. Right back by Penn Hills. Caught Peters off guard there. They got to be ready for that. Set up and spiked down by Ryan Deegan. That's going to be a kill for Deegan. It's 4-1 Peters Township. Enan's serve is over. Brought back by Penn Hills. Set up by Peters. Hit over by Peters. But Penn Hills isn't able to get it back. It's now 5-1. Enan's going to continue this run for Peters Township. Enan's jump serve is over. It's set up by Penn Hills. Spiked by Penn Hills. Nice kill there by Penn Hills. That was number 23, Alan Tamanachi. Back to serve for Penn Hills is number 2, Braden Mallory. Mallory's serve is over. It's set up by Peters Township. Bama Strider on the spike, but Penn Hills digs it out, sets it out, brings it back. It appeared to go past the stick, but the referees say it was in bounds. That point will go to Penn Hills. Penn Hills serve, Peters sets it up. Cooper a little short on the push, puts it into the net. Another point for Penn Hills. It's now 5-4. Mallory's serve for Penn Hills goes over. It's set up by Peters Township. Bama Strider on the kill. Penn Hills was up the block, but it sailed out of bounds. Point for Peters Township. Into the game for Peters Township, number 13, Nathan Doomer, for number 14, Nate Klein. 17, Ethan Cooper back to serve. Cooper's jump serve is over. It's set up by Penn Hills, spiked by Penn Hills, but sails long. Point's going to go to Peters Township. Cooper still serving. Cooper's jump serve stays in, set up by Penn Hills. Spiked by Penn Hills. Sullivan digs it out. Peters can't get it back over the net. Good job there by Sullivan to dig it out, but Peters couldn't get a handle on it to pull it back over. Serving for Penn Hills is number 21, Shamar Johnson. Johnson's serve is over. It's set up by Peters Township. Nathan Doomer on the kill. Good job there by Nathan Doomer. Good set on that play too. That was number 17, Ethan Cooper on that set. I believe that's 3 or 4 kills tonight for Doomer, doing a good job. Serving for Peters Township, number 6, Bama Strider. His serve is over, drops in short. That's going to be an ace. Penn Hills attempted to pull it back, but couldn't quite get a handle on it. Bama Strider's jump serve is over. Set up by Penn Hills. It's hit a little bit long by Penn Hills. That point's going to go to Peters Township. It's now 10-5 Peters Township. Bama Strider's jump serve into the net. Point's going to go to Penn Hills. Serving for Penn Hills is number 23, Alan Tamanachi. Tamanachi's serve is over. Peters sets it up. Sullivan on the spike, and that was in, close to the line, but in, so that's going to be a kill for Sullivan. Couple substitutions for Peters Township. We've got Crookshank coming into the game, he'll serve, and Josephowski into the game as well. Crookshank's jump serve is over. It's set up by Penn Hills, spiked and blocked by Peters Township, back over. Penn Hills gets it back, but it sails out of bounds. It's a nice block there by Peters Township at the net. I didn't see who it was. Appeared to be maybe Sullivan and Josephowski, but good job with the block. Crookshank's serve is over, set up by Penn Hills. Once again, stopped there at the net by Peters Township. It's going to be 4 hits on Peters Township, point to Penn Hills. Into the game for Peters, Deegan for Crookshank, and then Caleb Einen Libero will go right in for Deegan. Penn Hills' serve is over. It's set up by Peters Township. Josephowski hits. Penn Hills touches. Penn Hills hits it back over. Set up by Peters Township now. Doomer on the spike and kill. That point will go to Peters Township. Doomer will sit. Klein will come into the game. Cooper will sit. Declan McMahon will come into the game. Sorry, Declan McMahon. Klein's serve is over. Joust at the net. but Sullivan gets the better end of it. That point's going to go to Peters Township. Klein's jump serve over the net, short serve, but stays in. Penn Hills sets it up for a return, but it goes into the net. That point's going to go to Peters Township. Klein is still serving. Klein's jump serve into the net. Point Penn Hills. Serving for Penn Hills is number 6, Luke Woolahan. Into the game for Penn Hills is number 21, Shamar Johnson. Woolahan's serve is over. It's set up by Peters Township. Sullivan on the kill. Point Peters Township 16-8. Sullivan back to serve. Sullivan's jump serve is over the net. It's going to be an ace. 17-8 Peters Township. Sullivan still serving. Sullivan's jump serve over, but sails a little bit long. Point Penn Hills. Serving for Penn Hills is number 15, Logan Depew. Depew's serve is over. It's set up by Peters Township. Bama Strider on the kill. 18-9 Peters Township. Bama Striders has a few kills this evening. He's done a good job. Into the game for Peters. Deegan for Josephowski. Heinen serving for Peters. His jump serve is over. Set up by Penn Hills. Hit over by Penn Hills. Now set up by Peters. Sullivan on a back row spike. Penn Hills gets a handle on it but can't return it. It's going to be point Peters Township 19-9. Einen's serve for Peters is over the net, set up by Penn Hills. Hit out by Penn Hills. They can't pull it back in, so that's going to be an ace for Einen. Einen's jump serve over the net. Touched by Penn Hills player. That's going to be another ace for Einen. It's now 20-10 Peters Township. Serve over the net by Einen, set up by Penn Hills. Spiked by Penn Hills, but sails long. Point's going to go to Peters Township, 22-9. Einen's serve is over, and it goes long. Good eye by Penn Hills player there, number 13, Joseph Mitlow. Serving for Penn Hills, number 2, Braden Mallory. Mallory's serve goes over. It's going to be a carry on Peters Township. Point's going to go to Penn Hills. Mallory will continue to serve. Mallory's a low one over the net. Sullivan on the floor to pull it back. Kill there for number 30, Peters Township, Declan McMahon. Into the game for Peters, number 13, Doomer for 14, Klein, 17, Cooper for 30, McMahon. Cooper will be back to serve. Cooper's jump serve is over. It's going to be an ace. So this is set and match point here for Peters Township. Cooper back to serve. Cooper's jump serve is over. Set up by Penn Hills. Spike and kill by Penn Hills. Nice kill there by number 23, Alan Tomanacci for Penn Hills. Serving for Penn Hills is number 21, Shamar Johnson. Johnson serve into the net. That's going to be set and match point for Peters Township. So Peters Township takes this game 3-0. I'm just going to take a look at the schedule here to let people know of the upcoming games. So tomorrow evening, Peters Township travels to Pine Richland to take on the Rams. That'll be a good matchup. On Saturday, there's a tournament here. That's not going to be broadcast, but Peters Township will be playing in that. Then the game I'm really looking forward to is April 13th versus Upper St. Clair at Upper St. Clair. That should be a super game. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank my cameraman Dave Sullivan here for helping me out. This is Neil Bear signing off for Peters Township Boys Volleyball. We'll talk with you in the next game. Thank you.